from what I've heard, this is on my... I've been well informed that Project 2025 is a completely innocent, completely benign, completely kosher project made by a bunch of well-meaning people. It is all completely fine and it's all good, as we're gonna learn from the leaked video. I'm sure we're gonna learn how great of a project it is from the leaked video. Any worries that you might have about this project, I am sure will be squashed in the bud. It's gonna be great. You're gonna have a nice time, I'm sure. It's all gonna be great. You agree? I think you agree. All right, let's watch. Let's put our worries to bed. Because I'm sure everybody is just exaggerating. Wait, this is only 480p? I cannot watch such a low resolution video. Oh boy, I'm excited. You're publishing the videos unedited. The Heritage Foundation did not respond to requests for comment. Well, let's get into it. Very nice.
Hi, I'm Katie Sullivan, and just a normal American woman. But to the...
There you go. It starts very normal. I'm just a normal American woman, so I guess this project is aimed at normal American women. Right? It's fine. Why is everybody making such a fuss over Project 2025 when it starts out so normal? She said she was normal.
left, that makes me a cisgendered ethno-imperialist.
Wait, what? Hold on, what? What just happened? What? That makes you a what?
Cisgender American woman. But to the left, that makes me a cisgendered ethno-imperialist.
What is an ethno-imperialist? Does that mean that you're imperializing other ethnicities? What is... Does that mean that you're kicking people out of their ethnicities and you're trying to steal their ethnicity? What is an
birthing person with pronouns she, her.
Are you saying your pronouns are not she, her? What are your pronouns then? If it's not she, her, is there something you want to tell us? Is this a coming out video? Is this turning into a coming out video? Well, they claim my pronouns are she, her. Obviously not, I guess. Okay. We're about to... I don't know.
Words like that are quite a mouthful. And
are they? A person with pronouns she and her. What a mouthful. I mean, she just said my pronouns are she and her as if it was a bad thing.
It's one America needs to spit out before we choke on it.
I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means.
In the eyes of many in the world, this every 4-year ceremony we accept as normal is nothing less than a miracle.
In America, we understand that a nation is only living as long as it is striving.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
This great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive and will prosper.
Whether we go forward together with courage or turn back to policies
All of these people would have been against women with she, her pronouns, wouldn't they?
that weakened our economy, diminished our leadership in the world, America's future will be in your hands.
In my hands, I'm Polish. Wait, hold on. Now it really starting to sound like some, I don't know, presidential transition project. Are we? Wait. Maybe this is not that lady's coming out party. Maybe this is Trump's presidential transition project. I don't know. Sounds suspicious. Sounds suspicious. Hidden meanings. The monsters in the attic. This is gonna be one hell of a video, isn't it? Oh. What are the monsters in the attic?
Bethany, are your children afraid of monsters in the attic or under the bed?
Yeah, they have been, but we always tell them that they do not exist.
Today we have news. There are monsters in Uncle Sam's attic.
It's the words, phrases, definitions that are used, which may look like one thing.
Why does she look so... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess a picture says 1,000 words. Look at her facial expression. It was very bizarre. Like, look at this. Expressions. Words. Expressions. So weird. Like this very... I don't know how to describe this facial expression, but it looks very intense. Intense. That is the term that I want to use when I look at this face. Intense. Wouldn't you agree? Is this not a pretty intense facial expression?
That are used, which may look like one thing, but absolutely mean another. And it is scary.
What does that even mean? Wait, hold on.
Look
What?
like one thing. It's the words, phrases, definitions that are used, which may look like one thing, but absolutely mean another. And it
Well, they may look like one thing, but they absolutely mean what does that even mean? I have no clue what that means. How can a word look like one thing, but mean something totally what? Maybe I'm too slow. Can the chat explain to me what that even means?
is scary.
During this training, we will identify the
It
problem.
is a training video? Training video? The premise is that there's a project that the conservatives want to implement, and this is a training video for the project, I guess.
Discuss examples from our time in the federal government, as well as the 5 cross-cutting principles of the current administration. We will teach you how to unwind the words and phrases that have been so artfully layered into every document in the federal government. You can do this in any role at any level of seniority. This training will prepare you to make changes and fast.
This training will prepare you to be a real bigot.
The left continues.
I've never looked at a word and thought, wow, this word looks like one thing, but it is actually something totally different. Hey, okay, Jess wants to make me insecure about my age. Jess, the one you know, wants to make me insecure about my age. I'm sad about it. You don't talk like a college student, you talk like an actual adult. I guess. I suppose so.
Continually pivots and assaults definitions and phrases.
Wait, what?
The left continually pivots and assaults definitions and phrases.
What does that mean? I have no clue. The left pivots and assaults words? Am I too slow for this training? Should I raise my hand, not unlike a shy college student, and ask, what the hell are you talking about? What does any of that mean? This is what I mean by talking like a college student. They're just saying stuff without truly understanding what they mean. The left pivots and attacks phrases.
The left continually pivots and assaults definitions and phrases. They twist words and phrases to support subconscious acceptance of a philosophy.
What? How can you twist words to support a subconscious acceptance? That makes no sense. What? A subconscious acceptance? Wait, so are you saying that someone will see these words, outwardly they will be a super bigot, but subconsciously they will accept it? Is that what she's saying? We're gonna encounter these words, and on the surface we'll still be super bigots, but subconsciously we'll actually be accepting these things because we're gonna be targeted by the twisted words? You can actually do that, but it's something fascist too because they don't believe in language. That might be the case, Greater Rain. That just might be the case. But in the opposite, they will say something that sounds accepting, however it will call to a more bigoted nature.
That was rejected or is against the grain of human existence.
What does that mean? It's against the grain of human... What? What does that mean?
Like rejected, subconscious acceptance of a philosophy that was rejected or is against the grain of human existence.
What does that mean? Philosophy that was rejected or is against the grain... What is the grain of human existence? What does that mean? What? What am I supposed to add here? I have no clue what that is. The grain of human existence. Oh boy. That is great. That is great. And there are people that signed off on this. Are there right-wing streamers that sign off on this? That Rob Noor signed off on this? Is Rob Noor like, yes, this is what I support? You know, Rob Noor, the person that used to be on the hippie dippy podcast thing. Is Rob like, yes, I strongly support this message. This message. I mean, I'm having fun. What can I say? Is it wrong that I'm having fun so far watching this video? Is it bad of me to be enjoying myself watching this? Is it an appropriate reaction for me to be... This is why I call conservatives and bigotry in general mental illness. They're completely delusional. That's reality of what's going on. That... I mean, it's funny until it's not. It's funny until the people that talk like this actually get into power. Then it stops being funny. Then it starts being pretty lethal. And the worst part is, of course, that what happens in the US affects the entire world. So if people like this win, and this gets implemented, you can bet your ass, you can bet money that something akin to this would start being implemented in other countries as well. If this sort of thing wins out in the US, you'll see clones of this pop out in other countries as well. It's only as fun as long as you can mock them. True. That is true.
Like, what is a woman? Perhaps the most...
Oh, Matt Walsh reference. Matt Walsh wrote a really weird Twitter post, by the way. How women should recognize a value man. A value man will know his history.
Effective tool the left wields is their ability to engage in constant subliminal advertising.
What? Well, get good, I guess. So I guess, you know, if the left is good at it, that's sort of an admissal that you suck at it, isn't it? I guess get good. What do you want me to say? I guess that's a skill issue, which you're pretty eagerly sort of admitting here. No?
Through their narrative, words, and phrases. Marxism became socialism, then democracy.
But wait, what? What do you mean Marxism became social? What the fuck? What? What? Marxism became so? What does that mean? Does this person think that socialism as a term did not exist during Marx's lifetime? Does she know that? Does she know that Marxism was just one of many schools that people subscribed to during and shortly after Marx's lifetime? Does she even know that there were many different schools other than Marxism? It's just that Marxism caught on the most. It was the most fleshed out.
Democratic socialism.
Wait, what?
And Nazism became socialism, then democratic socialism.
Does this person know what any of those words mean?
and is now represented by the terms social justice and equity.
What? But those... Are you against justice? Are you against justice in society? Social, society, justice in society. Are you against justice in society? Are you against equity? No, it's not. Wait, no, it's not. Just social justice is not justice in society. Oh.
This is perhaps the most scary of all.
Katie, what brings to mind is the quote, "He who controls the language rules the world." It's attributed to Joseph Stalin and other tyrants. Language rules the world. What brings to mind is
Isn't that is that an actual real quote? Do I have to look it up? Is that a real quote? It feels like it's one of those quotes that everybody says someone said, but actually no. He who controls the language controls the world. Sounds like one of those BS quotes. Oh. Illustrated in 1984. Illustrated in the 1984, I guess this is when Stalin lived. Language engineering is an attempt to shame or punish those who disagree with ascribed linguistic orthodoxy, and again, to what end? As Chicago-based community activist Saul Alinsky famously wrote in his manifesto, Rules of Radicals, 1971. Oh, never mind. Rules of Radicals. He who controls the language controls the masses. Alinsky, an enthusiast advocate of manipulative language for political purpose, agrees with Orwell. It's all about thought control. It's about superimposing a political ideology on the masses. I see. So some guy in 1971 said it, not Joseph Stalin, is the takeaway. That is the takeaway.
It's the quote, perhaps the most scary
So
of
no, it's not attributed to Joseph Stalin, I guess. He was long dead in 1971, actually.
all.
Katie, what brings to mind is the quote, "He who controls the language rules the world." It's attributed to Joseph Stalin and
Don't they do basic fact-checking in Project 2025? It took me 5 seconds to Google this. It didn't take me long to quote who actually said this.
other tyrants. And George Orwell stated, "He who controls language controls culture." Even more, Hitler and others lived by the creed. If you repeat culture, even more, Hitler and he who did to
Wait.
Joseph quote, "He who controls
of all.
Katie, what brings to mind
Katie.
is the quote, "He who controls the language rules the world." It's attributed to Joseph Stalin and other tyrants. And George Orwell stated,
George Orwell is one of those tyrants? Wasn't George Orwell just a writer? Was George Orwell one of those horrible tyrants? She said Joseph Stalin and other tyrants were attributed with those quotes.
"He who controls language controls culture." Even more, Hitler and others lived by the creed. If you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it. Without doubt, it's true.
I know. I'm seeing it right now. It's really astonishing how the right-wing pundits can repeat this nonsense over and over and over again, and there will be people that will just eat it up. They'll just start believing it. That is a very strange moment of self-reflection. It is a very, very bizarre moment of self-reflection.
Language is a powerful and often controlling tool.
Career bureaucrats and the left are also using language.
Why are they speaking like robots? Like they're at gunpoint. Language is often used as a tool of control, which Orwell and other tyrant Hitlers say that it's the thing that is used to control you, just as it's used to insert words, phrases, and other things into your subconscious to make you delete the reality button in your belly button. What's happening? What's happening? What are they speaking so stiffly? Why are they so bizarrely... Do you know what I mean? Why are they behaving so strangely? You know what I mean, right? You know what I'm trying to point out here, right?
To change culture and gain more and more authority, thereby upsetting the balance of power envisioned by our founding fathers.
What balance of power envisioned by the founding fathers? The anti-woke balance of power? Did the founding fathers warn the future generations about pronouns and cisgender and other bad things? Is that the balance of power that the founding fathers had in mind? Is that it?
In essence, weaponized language against the American people.
Against the who are the American people, in your opinion?
This training is vital to you as a political appointee.
It is? It is vital to me? I'm not even American. How can it be vital to me? How can I be a political appointee as a non-American? Wait, Project 2025 is gonna make me into a political appointee as a foreigner? Wow. How much does a political appointee make? I'm starting to think maybe there's something in this for me. They called me a political appointee. Maybe there's something in this for me. They make nothing? Oh, never mind then. Never mind this. This is crap. Never mind. I was tempted for a second by the dark side of the force. I was tempted. For a second, I was tempted to become a political appointee. But if they don't make anything, then no. I'm gonna have to decline. Who's you about to sell out? For shame. No. Don't worry. I'm just gonna edit this part out. I'm just gonna edit this part out of the VOD. It's okay. This is what the magic of editing is for. Editing out moments like this. And see? And then it didn't happen. I didn't even consider it. Because it never happened. Should sell out for me?
If there's
Well, what is your proposal?
one thing you take from this training, it is to know when you start your job as a political appointee, every single word, phrase, and acronym must be vetted, and you must determine
Jesus. Or buy me. Oh wow. How much do you cost? That every imagine living your life. Imagine living your life and just every single moment of your existence you're vetting out every single word, phrase, and everything for its hidden meanings. That must be a pretty tiring existence to just vet every single word of. No wonder they're like this. $2. Maybe I'll buy you. Lucy Channels Bart Simpson. I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. True. Nobody did. Nobody did. Nobody did see me do it. $1 million. That is true that nobody did see me do it.
What implications every word has before publishing or moving forward with any official or internal document.
All right. So now that we have identified...
All right. When does the... I'm just curious. When does the training portion of this when does the training portion of this training video begin?
The problem. Let's give the viewers a taste of what we saw in the Trump administration. Bethany and I
hold on.
Taste of what. So now that we have identified the problem, let's give the viewers a taste of what we saw in the Trump administration. Bethany and I were.
But I thought Trump has nothing to do with Project 2025. Am I being lied to?
Both part of a coordinated effort in the Trump administration focused on trying to take back hijacked language and definitions across the United States government and even at our engagements in the United Nations. From our experiences, we will teach you how to identify the left's progressive language, scrutinize career staff compositions for dangerous language, and how to combat their manipulative efforts, ensuring clarity of definition and conservative intention. Bethany,
why conservative? Why would the left wing have to ensure conservative intent? What? Why would the left be under any obligation to deliver any conservative obligation?
and I are going to give you some examples of what we mean by this need to always ensure clarity. But in no way are we able to foresee the future and anticipate how the progressive left will continue to co-opt even more words and definitions. We can tell you the words and phrases being used today.
You know what? I know one. From what I'm seeing, the right has co-opted one word. They've taken it for themselves. They have defined themselves by it. I don't know. I don't know if I like it completely, but it is what it is. The right has completely co-opted the word idiot. It's theirs. It's completely theirs. My gosh. My gosh. They completely own the word idiot now. I just cannot believe this. I just cannot believe what I'm watching.
But by the time you enter the administration, these examples may be obsolete. This will help you spot crucial issue areas to pay close attention to.
Okay, let's see what I have to pay attention to, because I'm eager to learn, and so far it's fluff. It's just the introduction.
We do not know what they will be calling men and women by the time you begin your tenure.
Men and women will be called I don't know. I'm out of funny things to say. Men and women will be called Jordi and Bordi. There you go. That's the mandatory language now.
with the administration. The left is trying to dismantle America and rebuild
What? And rebuild what? The British Empire.
it in their own image by using the art of deception, and words and definitions are their weapon of choice.
Deception.
Remember, words change culture. Bethany, with your extensive experience...
What's the deceptive part? How can it be deceptive if the left is open about it? That makes no sense. Where's the deception?
with both domestic and international policy issues, and in light...
Oh, wait. Are they gonna discuss international relations in this training video? Oh, I cannot wait. Oh, gosh. Oh, boy. Oh, gee. Golly. Wow. It's gonna be exciting.
of your role in leadership positions at USAID, can you walk us through some examples of how the left uses words, weaponizes really, words and
yes, please give me examples.
definitions?
Yes, I cannot.
And if you could do that in a context of the cross-cutting issues that are identified in the mandate for leadership, and really as we understand, the cross-cutting issues were identified because they are the pillars of the Biden administration. And so they've been layered into virtually every document in the federal government. If you could walk us through...
Yes, Joe Biden has basically invented progressivism.
some of those examples, I think it would be incredibly helpful.
I'd be happy to. Absolutely.
I'll be happy to. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The 5 topic areas for today's discussion are
Oh, golly gee, gosh. Oh, I love learning.
centered on women, children, and family, environment, human rights, and
Are they gonna be like global warming's fake? Border security.
border security, the gender cult,
The gender cult. How old is this?
and equity.
Equity. Oh, where are the... Wait, hold on. I thought we were supposed to get some international relations thing. Where's the international there is no international relations in this. I've been lied to. I've been deceived. I swear I thought Ukraine would make this list. I thought Ukraine would make this. I guess not. I guess not.
Topic, women, children, and family. I worked on international issues and
International issues. Okay. Now we're gonna get international relations.
very closely followed the language presented at the United Nations. And I saw up close and personal how this indeed is true. Language is used to control culture. I'll never forget a conversation I had with the Chief of Staff at USAID.
Okay, tell us about the conversation. What horrible conversation you've had. International relations. Only the US matters. I mean, unironically, according to some people. According to some people, unironically, the only international relations framework that they operate under is the US is bad, and therefore everybody else is kind of good.
We are trying to provide alternative language for the highly controversial phrase comprehensive sexuality education, or
Why is this controversial? Wait, what? What's controversial about this?
CSE, with phrase
Nazi speaking English.
comprehensive sexuality
What's controversial about comprehensive?
education for the high at USAID. We are trying to provide alternative language for the highly controversial phrase comprehensive sexuality education, or
What's controversial about comprehensive sexuality education? What would be the alternative to this? What alternative language would you even use? what is your proposal for a good substitute?
Or CSE, which at the United Nations had come to mean not just typical sex education.
Okay, that tells me nothing. What is the typical sex education? You cannot just say things without defining them. I thought you were the ones that wanted clarity and definitions. What the hell is a typical sex education? Can somebody enlighten me on that? The hell is typical? Because I don't know. There are many standards of sexual education, actually. So what is the typical? Define these nuts. The alternative is Bible-based, abstinence-only education of no gender stuff. Oh, it's actually just a white shirt and it has nothing on it. It's just a white shirt that has nothing on it. Got her plus? Oh gosh, wait. Listen, if you're gonna troll me like this, disturb the segment, then you have to donate. See? This is how the deal works. This is how this works. This Faustian deal. Okay? Lucy? You there? Sugoi, yes.
But instead have been morphed into teaching and normalizing sex at very early ages.
What? What sex education teaches and normalizes sex at very young ages? And also, what is very young ages? Is that Haze? No way. Do I have a Haze emote? No way.
Even as young as preschool, and for girls who became pregnant, that abortion was a preferable method
Wait, hold on.
birth. Girls who began at very early ages, even as young as preschool, and for girls who became pregnant, that abortion was a preferable method of birth control.
Wait, hold on. That makes no sense. If you don't want very young people to have sex, then it stands to reason you don't want very young people to have children, no? Right? Am I mistaken here? So if it happens that a very young person gets pregnant, then wouldn't abortion be preferable? Because you didn't want them to have sex in the first place? You didn't want them to have children in the first place? So if it happens, you have to prevent it because it's not a desired outcome?
Back to the conversation with the chief of staff. He suggested several alternatives, but each time I told him that, unfortunately, his recommended edit was also interpreted as CSE. Frustrated, he vented, "They have literally co-opted the English language."
Who are they? Who the hell are they? Are we entering the Jewish question so fast? So fast have we entered the Jewish question? They? Oh boy. Who the hell are they? Oh boy. Oh no. So fast into the video, and you were already knees deep into the Jewish question. Oh, I did not see that coming. And we're just 8 minutes into the video out of 49.
And it was at that moment
Is this a video that is supposed to teach me how to identify them? Is that it? Will this training video teach me how to identify them? Oh boy.
Moment that I realized that the progressive left is controlling the language, redefining definitions, and by doing so, are ruling the world.
What? The progressive left rules the world? What? Well, the progressive left rules the world. Wait, okay. I have a few questions. Okay, I have to say I have a few questions. If the progressive left rules the world already, then why does the progressive left need to engage in deception or anything really? Why does the progressive left need to change and control the language to dismantle the US and rebuild it in its image if the progressive world not just rules the US already, but rules the world? If it rules the world, then it could just dismantle the US on a legal level, to just, do a decree that now the US is dismantled and we're redoing it in our image. What? Are they saying that the progressive left rules the world except the US?
On a positive note, despite all the angst that we did succeed on that negotiation, DevEx published an article with the headline, "No Mention of Reproductive Rights in Declarations Out of G7 Development Ministerial." You can read more about this in the course materials section.
The way she pronounces the S's is very intense. You can read this section in this document.
Now, let's talk about the word abortion.
Let's talk about. I mean, that's true. That is true. Oh, just like those princes from whatever country that send you letters with mistakes and ask you for money. I guess that's the same principle, isn't it? I guess that is the same principle, isn't it? A vetting system.
The left got very creative years ago and started using different words to make abortion sound a little less like murder.
What? Since when did the word abortion sound like murder? When I say we must abort this Operation Alpha Beta, am I talking of murder? Abort. We are not going further into this room. What? Since when does abortion sound like murder? It just means stopping something, no? Abandoning something, no? That woman's facial structure just says evil and mean. Abort the mission means to murder the mission. True. Why didn't I think of that? Murder the mission and swoon. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oof.
For example, sexual and reproductive health.
What? What? sexual and reproductive health is not just about abortion, is it? Is it? I'm pretty sure that sexual and reproductive health is a topic that far exceeds just the topic of abortion. No, maybe English is my second language. Maybe there's something here that I don't get. Maybe there's just something here that I don't fully comprehend. Am I missing something crucial here? I feel like sexual and reproductive health is the thing that makes abortion not sound like
reproductive rights, sexual and reproductive health services, reproductive health services, health services, sexual
health services, just health services? Just the term health services is a thing that is designed to make abortion not sound like murder? Just that?
and reproductive health and reproductive rights, sexual and reproductive health and rights. All of these include abortion. For years, we knew that
Well, yeah, health services.
the terms above that I just mentioned had been used and that they were code for abortion.
Health services is code for abortion? Oh, what do doctors do? You know, they provide health services. Abortion. You know, my dentist provides oral related health services. Your doctor performs abortion? Your dentist? A professional aborter? Gosh darn.
The left and the career bureaucrats at state and USAID told us, oh, no, no, no. But then when
Yeah, she is doing what she's complaining about, isn't she? She's twisting the meaning of health services to mean abortion.
I was negotiating with Canada for the G7 Development Ministerial, I said, well, can we just use these terms and add that does not include abortion?
Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Why would you do that?
And their response was telling. They said, but it does include abortion.
Yeah, it does. What the fuck? Yeah, it does. What? What is it? What does it tell us? It's very telling. Yeah, it is telling. It tells us that those services include abortion. What? Yes, health services, in fact, include certain types of health services. Who would have known? Who would have known?
Even with that admission, I had a difficult time.
Admission? What do you mean admission? Abortion is a health service. What the admission. When you say health services, can you say that it does not include dental care? But it does include dental care. Aha! You admit it. You admit it. You admit it. That was such a sad joke. I apologize. I apologize for this joke. It was very bad. Thank you, fake Alec Halpark. Thank you.
Time convincing political appointees that these terms were co-opted.
What? Why? Why is the term health service co-opted? Because it includes all available health services. How is that co-option? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Thank you.
Another example hits closer to home and highlights
Okay, let's see. Let's hear the example that hits closer to home. Hits closer. Where's home? What is home supposed to be here? Home sounds like hell. I'm gonna be honest. Home sounds like hell.
how imperative it is for political appointees to ensure definitions are correct and explicitly followed. 3 days
Wait,
after
hold on. What? I mean, are you saying definitions should not be correct?
presidents are correct, and imperative it is for political appointees to ensure definitions are correct and explicitly followed. 3 days after President Trump took office on January 20th, 2017, he issued a presidential memorandum regarding the Mexico City policy. This became known as the Protecting Life and Global Health Assistance Policy, or the expanded Mexico City policy. When I arrived at USAID
I have no clue where this is going, but I guess we'll find out.
in June 2017, I was the first political appointee in a bureau outside the front office and the sixth political appointee in the building. Despite President Trump issuing a presidential memorandum at the very onset of his administration to immediately change course and to protect life, even months later, his guidance was ignored.
What was that? I have no clue what this reference is. What was the Mexico City thing? Can someone in the chat illuminate me?
I remember hearing careers refer to this policy and even seeing documents that referred to it as the global gag order. I immediately told the career staff that we do not refer to it as the global gag order, but instead
Oh, that actually sounds familiar, the global gag order. Can someone refresh my memory about what was the whole Mexico City Trump thing about?
appropriately as the Protecting Life and Global Health Assistance.
Okay, I gotta Google this because it sounds like the chat will not help me. The chat will never help me, I guess. Chat will never help me.
You are about to
It's okay. Okay, what was the name of that thing again?
Policy order, but instead appropriately as the Protecting Life and Global Health Assistance.
Okay, Protecting Life and Global Health Assistance. Act. Protecting Life and Global Assistance Act prohibits foreign, that is non-American, non-governmental organization that receives certain categories of U.S. government global health assistance from using USG funds or other funds for performing, providing counseling, referring to, or advocating for safe abortions as methods of family planning. Oh. Wait, hold on. Yeah, global gag is correct. We haven't agreed on a date. I meant Colombo on the Discord. I meant Colombo on the Discord thing, not on stream. We can't watch Colombo here. It's copyrighted. I looked it up. It's too late. Global gag order is correct.
Policy. To some, it may seem inconsequential, but it actually was completely undermining the president and the American people who had elected President Trump.
How does it undermine what? That makes no... I'm sorry. Once again, that makes no sense. Oh yeah, it undermines the American people so much to not prevent people that are not even Americans from having abortions. Okay, sure. Allowing foreigners abortions undermines American people so much that it hurts.
So opposed to this policy change, the left...
Wow, you're looking it up. It makes you a liberal. Would you say it makes me an omni-liberal? You know, under one of my videos, someone called me a Destiny supporter? Was it? I'm called a Destiny supporter under one of my videos. And surprisingly, it's the video... You'll be shocked to learn that one of my videos is actually doing very, very well. One of my videos is like... Hold on. Let's see where it's at now. 2,048 views. One of my videos has 2,048 views. Can you believe such a thing? I have no clue why this particular video just boom, so many views. It's like first video, 7 views, 116 views, 75 views, 2,048 views, 45 views. Wait, how does that jive with the Great Replacement theory? Don't think about it.
left actually started a new organization and an international movement called She Decides, which invited NGOs and other foreign governments
what?
to She Decides started a new and the American people who had elected President Trump. So opposed to this policy change, the left actually started a new organization and an international movement called She Decides.
Shouldn't she decide? And by she we mean women? Shouldn't women decide about their reproductive rights? Is that a thing that you oppose?
Which invited NGOs and other foreign governments to join and actively promote abortion services and advocacy, essentially joining together to try to counter what the Trump administration was doing to protect life.
I mean, women, oh, whatever.
Language matters.
Bethany, it's incredible how...
Yes, it's incredible how stupid you two are. I'm not... Okay, I'm gonna leave it up to a vote of the audience. Are these people stupid, dishonest, or dishonestly stupid? There's always a third option. Also, protect life, and yet women with complications when it comes to pregnancy are left to die. Both in Poland and in the US, apparently. It's okay to just let women die should anything happen during the pregnancy, but that's not important.
The left is able to make killing children and babies a pro-movement. I mean, their narrative is just incredible and so opposite.
Yeah, you're jealous. You wish you had such narrative, but you suck because you're not very intelligent. So you really suck when it comes to any form of, rhetoric. That's true. That is true.
Of what the reality of the situation.
The Bible had more abortion in it than Shira. That is true. I believe Shira had 0 abortions in it.
Is. We see that also with environment, right? So I remember...
Oh, the global warming hoax.
When I was in school, in elementary school, we were taught that we were all going to be frozen over by an ice age. And of course, this was terrifying. And then
When I was small, we were taught that things were one way. But now that I'm an adult, things are different. So these were all lies, weren't they? Okay.
in the 80s, it was acid rain. We were all going to die from the acid rain.
Nobody said that we were all gonna die from the acid rain, by the way. Nobody said that ever. You know what people said? People said the real thing. People said that the acid rain is detrimental to health and detrimental to the environment. Which, guess what? It's true. In fact, nobody said that we would die because of it.
And then it moved to global warming, which I think...
Oh. She omitted one. She actually omitted one. I guess she doesn't know. There was also the ozone hole. Did you forget? Huh? Did you forget about the ozone hole? Huh? Forgot about that one, did ya? That was actually a much louder issue than the acid rain. I'll have you know. The ozone hole. See? I'm better at right-wing talking points than the right wing.
You know, most of the people watching this...
By the way, what got the acid rain part wrong here, the mix up with SFCs and the ozone hole. No, the ozone hole was a completely separate issue. It was an issue though, and actually there was a whole movement to sort of reduce the ozone hole, which thank God happened, you know? Oh, I heard about the acid rain, yeah. I heard about it. What I didn't hear was that anybody would die from it. Our conservatives are very dumb. I'm sorry. It's okay, adventurous Amish. You can make it up to me by joining the page and by not being white. So yes, the ozone hole.
tape will remember that was during the Obama administration.
Yes.
And then science comes along and disproves the global warming theory and...
Wait, no, what? What science disproved global warming being a thing? There's no science that Who are you? Trump is not a scientist, okay? I'm sorry to tell you, your daddy emperor Trump is not a scientist. Science did not disprove global warming. Just because Trump said it's not real.
Large part, and we have one of the most frigid winters ever known. And then the next thing you know, they're calling it climate change. Now,
yeah, it is. What? It's not even a name change. Global warming is a change in climate, hence climate change. Are you stupid? What am I even supposed to say to this? Oh, first they said it was global warming, but now they say it's a climate change. Yeah, it's a change in the climate.
I always understood that climate change meant seasons. Our climate
what?
Does change all the time. But of course, that's not what's meant by the left. What do you think all the time? Understood that climate change meant seasons. Our climate does change.
I can't. cannot be real. This is satire, isn't it? I've been duped into watching a satirical material. This cannot be real. I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe this is serious.
All the time. But of course, that's not what's meant by the left. What do you think about all of about?
What in the... It is the first time, yes. Is this really the first time you see someone make this argument? Yes, I've never seen this argument before. It's caught me off guard. It honestly caught me off guard.
About the left's words and definitions in the environment.
It's a great point, Katie.
It's a great point, Katie. It's a great point, Katie. Great point. Amazing point. I couldn't have said it better, Katie. God, Katie, you're so good. You're so great. Thumbs up, Katie. Gosh.
They don't stop. Climate change allegedly
Don't stop me now. I want to have a good time. I'm having a ball.
is everywhere. And if the American people elect a conservative president,
You know what? I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll go to the toilet. You're right. You're right, Crater Rain. It does need popcorn. And gosh darn, we're getting popcorn. We are getting popcorn. I'll be right back with the popcorn. You're right, actually. Invite more people to come watch. Now I'm ready. Have my popcorn. Yay. Now I am ready. Climate change? What was global warming? What happened? Okay. Popcorn. You didn't invite any friends to come here. Wow. You didn't invite any friends. I see. I see how it is. I expected 1,000 viewers to be in the audience. Let's see, look at these. Okay. I have no friend. That's not true.
his administration will have to eradicate climate change references from absolutely everywhere.
What?
And eradicate, people elect a conservative president, his administration will have to eradicate climate change references from absolutely everywhere.
Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? What? Why would you want to... Why? That's one of the worst things you can be called. What, a conservative?
And according to our intelligence community, the #1 threat facing our country today is, drumroll, climate change. Not Russia, not China, not AI, climate change.
What are these comparisons? How can you compare technology, AI, to other states, to a global climatic catastrophe that affects not just the US but the entire planet? They're incomparable. What the hell? global climate change, have you considered China? I mean, China contributes, one of the bigger contributors to global warming, so maybe the climate change, so maybe there is something to it. Prove the earth isn't flat. I'm flat.
This shows how the federal government is all in on this issue. And climate change.
Okay. Why would the federal government lie about something like this? Why? Prove you're flat? I could not. It's TOS. Why? Why would the federal government lie about climate change? What's the incentive exactly? What is the incentive? Are they gonna explain it? The federal government is in on what? Wanting to take care of the environment?
Activists wield a lot of power. This is an issue.
Oh yeah, famously, the activists wield a lot of power. Because these activists wield so much power, they resort to throwing soup at paintings and cuffing themselves to, I don't know, fences. It's because they wield so much power, you see. Of course. That is exactly why they execute their power through throwing soup at paintings.
To pay attention to, as it has infiltrated.
There are better ways. There are better instruments of control than, I don't know, climate change. Of course I know. In fact, actually, fear-mongering about China would be a better instrument to gain control. Because it would be like, oh, China's so dangerous. China's got its tentacles everywhere in the US. This is why you have to sacrifice some of your freedoms, some of your privacy, some of your security for us to keep you safe from China. That would be a far easier road to go to than climate change. Wouldn't it? Actually, didn't the US go through something like this before? After 9/11? We have to increase, surveillance and stuff because terrorism? Huh?
Every part of the federal government. Now, when I think of climate change, I immediately think of population control, don't you?
What? No. No, I don't, because I'm not a loon. Population control. In what ways? Where does rain come from then? Are rain's fake? Is rain fake as well? Where does rain come from?
Think about the people who don't want you to have children because of the impact on the environment. Perhaps not.
That's not a thing. Nobody ties birth rates to climate change. What the hell? Nobody says, oh, you should have less children because it affects global warming. Oh yeah, that's totally what happens. That's sure. sure. There should be less kids because global warming, sure. That's totally happening.
Everyone will make that connection. But after spending
What connection? Nobody says that.
time in the international space trying to protect life, I can tell you that this is part of their ultimate goal, to control people. Let me
To what end? Why? For the sake of control? Are they turned on by the control? Does it turn them on? Is that it? Is that what it's the high of controlling people? Is that what it's all about?
share a personal example of how the left seeks to permeate every dimension.
Yeah, but every human in the first world causes like 1,000 times more global warming than a person in less developed countries. Like, it's because of the things that are harmful to the environment. I think more prevalent is the suggestion that we change the methods that we do things. That is what caused the whole farmer strikes. Because the EU started implementing regulations that would actually require farmers to care about the environment. And they hated it.
Dimension of life through their skewed terminology and definition. When I arrived at USAID, I had a career employee ask me how many children I had. I thought it was a bit odd of a question.
And I naturally answered, as a true conservative woman, 15 children, but I assured more were on the way.
But to be kind, I answered and I said I had 3 children.
Oh
And
no.
he actually said to me, "Oh wow, 1.5 too many for the environment." I smiled and I said very politely, if I could have 10 more children, I would. The policy book captures the essence of climate change.
Yeah, this conversation absolutely happened. I believe it. Absolutely. In fact, I think she was being nice about it. I think what really happened was this. How many children do you have? 3. Oh. Your kids are your little cells, your little spawns are a blight on the environment. Abort them immediately. We here at this place are for post-birth abortion. Abort them immediately. Or you're fired. And you'll never be hired again anywhere.
Change. And I quote, "In the name of combating climate change, policies have been used to create an artificial energy scarcity that will require trillions of dollars in new investment, supported with taxpayer subsidies to address a problem that government and special interests themselves have created."
Wait,
Problem.
who is that guy? Who is Bernard L. McNamee? Who is this? Also, what does that mean? Policies have been used to create an artificial energy scarcity. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that involves. It tells me nothing. It means nothing. Does that mean, for example, reducing the use of coal? Is that creating artificial energy scarcity? And replacing it with other sources of energy? Is that what this guy is referring to?
that government and special interests themselves have created. Page 364, end of quote. Population growth, environmental changes, and weather patterns have all been intertwined by the left. They take or even make up a term and create, extend, and alter the definition to validate whatever ideology or
What definition?
position they want to ingrain and convince others is good, when in reality it's not. Often, as you just heard, they are simply not coherent or logical.
Can you give us any coherent and logical examples of that?
Remember, our intelligence community identified climate change as the #1 threat to America.
Okay.
So even if you do not work at the Department of Energy, no matter where you work, because of the Biden administration's executive orders and policy priorities,
Biden. What will they talk about now in Project 2025, now that Biden's out?
you will have to look for climate change language and get rid of it.
Bethany, when you were talking about how the left has co-opted so many words and weaponized so many words when it comes to
What does weaponizing words even mean? What do they even mean when they say that? This is such empty speak. Also, this is supposed to be a training video, and I'm not being trained in anything. I just noticed that I'm supposed to be trained in something, but I'm not really being trained in anything. I'm not learning anything. Even if I were to believe in everything they're saying, I'm still not learning. I'm still not being trained in anything.
abortion, and that's something that political appointees in the next administration are going to have to really look at. This idea that it's a right. There's many phrases that included rights. Is there other places where rights are used as a catch-all and it means something else?
Katie, that's a great question. And in
Great question. Answer the question.
fact, #3 is human rights. Human rights in border security. So,
Oh God, human rights. Are we actually unironically entering the Alexander Dugin territory with this crap? You know, Alexander Dugin, the famous Russian thinker that says that he does not buy into the human rights ideology. Is that the thinker that we want to follow on this? Really? Is that what's happening?
rights. The left is always coming up with new rights. In the Trump administration, we countered human rights with
I mean, that's pretty good, no? I think that's pretty good to come up with new rights for people, no? How can you say with a straight face that you want to counter human rights?
unalienable rights. The careers administration, we countered human rights with unalienable rights.
That's stupid. It doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
The careers went absolutely crazy at USAID. But thankfully, President Trump had established a commission on unalienable rights at the State Department, and we would just point back to the commission. Sadly, our founding documents were not sufficient, but thankfully the commission was.
What?
The Department of State's Commission on Unalienable Rights was charged with providing the U.S. government with advice on human rights grounded in our nation's founding principles and the principles of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Now, I'm going to turn over.
So, are you for the term human rights or against it? Which is it?
border security to you, Katie, as it deals with legalese?
And we all know that border security is a major issue, and the differences between a conservative presidency and administration and the current administration.
Yeah, we have to oppress people at the border, don't you know? Of course.
Couldn't be more stark than in this area. So getting the words very precise and correct is crucial. The left has co-opted language and definitions as it relates to immigration.
Okay, I want to hear what the bad words are. Is it, oh, I know. Let me guess. I'm calling it now. You're gonna cry about illegal alien becoming not a thing, and instead undocumented immigrant becoming a thing. I'm telling you, we're about to hear this in 5 seconds, or soon. We're about to hear crying about undocumented migrants or immigrants soon. There we go. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Illegal immigration is one of the most devastating challenges America faces today, particularly when you factor in all of the secondary costs and effects of illegal immigration, including illicit drug and human trafficking.
That's not something that's tied to immigration. That makes no sense. You cannot just say, oh, all immigrants just bring... No, that's stupid. I'm sorry. Drugs, smuggling drugs to a country, usually through gangs or whatever, is a completely separate issue from immigration. They're not connected. You cannot just say, oh, immigration and drugs are tied together and call it a day without establishing it with any evidence or any logic whatsoever. That makes no sense. That connection between drugs and immigration makes no sense. It's stupid. Because people from the US can leave to other countries and then bring in drugs illegally. Have you considered that? You'd have international drug trade without immigration. Because you'd have local people do the international drug trade. Have you even considered that? I guess not.
The left knows the American people oppose illegal immigration and understands its effects. So they have spent years using language designed to both and human effects of when you factor in all of the secondary costs and effects of illegal immigration, including illicit drug and human trafficking. The left knows the American people oppose illegal immigration and understands
I don't even know what the overall opinion of the American public is on immigration. Isn't the US a country of immigrants? Wasn't the US founded on immigration?
effects. So they have spent years using language designed to both conflate the illegal immigration.
You just conflated immigration with drugs, with drug trade. And you're gonna cry about conflating things? Really? Really? You're gonna cry about conflating things when you've just conflated immigration with drug trade? Okay.
Immigration and legal immigration, the latter of which most Americans support, and soften the idea that illegal immigration is, in fact, illegal. It is a good bet that the left has focused group tested the language it uses to cover up the horrors of illegal immigration. For example, when describing illegal immigration, the left likes to use words and phrases like undocumented immigrants and migrants. These terms...
I knew it! Undocumented immigrants, I called C. Let me check if she used the words illegal alien before.
Documented immigration. The left likes to use words and phrases like undocumented immigrants,
I knew it.
and migrants. These terms are designed to sound softer and take the edge off the fact that these people are illegally in the United States. It is important to note that they specifically avoid using the word alien, which is the terminology used in federal law.
There you go. I called it. I called it. I called it. I called it. Wait, okay. Are you saying that the word immigrant... Are you saying that the word immigrant and migrant are not present in the federal law?
To be the word alien,
What kind of stupid argument is that?
which is the terminology used in federal law.
So I guess immigrants and migrants are not phrases used in federal law terminology, right? Is undocumented a word that does not exist in federal law? I find it quite hard to believe that undocumented is a word that does not exist in the federal law vocabulary. But you know. Who cares about the fact that undocumented basically means illegal? They're just not very smart.
To be clear, alien
Who cares about the fact that undocumented immigrants is actually more descriptive of what is going on? Because you come to the country, you don't have documents, you're undocumented. And you may very well try to get these documents. You may go somewhere and try to, you know, become documented. Illegal is basically just your existence here is illegal. And undocumented basically gives you, in the name, a clue of what can be done to sort of rectify the situation, you know? You apply for the documents. You're undocumented. You don't have the necessary documents to be here. I guess that's basically the idea behind the language.
is not a negative or pejorative term. It is a legal term of art. It simply means that an individual is not a citizen of a particular country. Language.
Yeah, funny that. And undocumented simply means that someone does not have the required documents to be in a country. What's the problem? What's the problem? If you don't have a problem with alien, then you should not have a problem with undocumented. I'm sorry.
Matters here for a lot of reasons, but primarily because citizens of the United States have rights that others, including foreign nationals who are illegally on our soil, do not. If I had to...
It is such a silly statement coming from the US when the US was founded on people that came from Europe and other places.
Yes, I would say that the left's attempt to wash away the term alien stems from their disdain of actual law, since they want to avoid discussion of what federal immigration law actually requires.
And yes, toaster cleaner. Expat, I am familiar with the term.
Which is everything they refuse to do, and their interest in washing away the overall value of citizenship. Remember, citizenship places a focus on nationality and sovereignty.
What? When people come to the US, their goal is to become citizens.
The left has bought into the globalist vision of a borderless world, and their language choices reflect that.
No, it
The left
doesn't.
loves to say that illegal aliens
Give me an example of language of the left that reflects wanting no borders at all. Undocumented immigrant actually reinforces the idea of borders because it reinforces the idea that you need certain documents to enter the country, that you need certain documentation to exist within the country. So that actually reinforces the idea of borders. It makes no sense. If you want a language that sort of pushes no borders, why would you use language that reinforces the idea of needing documents? Hello, Alvin Stube. Oh wow, you're new to the stream, I think, Alvin Stube. How have you found this stream? What other streamers do you watch? Who are your favorite streamers? What are your favorite topics? I'm sorry, I ask this of all new viewers. Always. Everybody here will tell you, I always ask this of new viewers. If you're not a new viewer and I've forgotten about you, then I sincerely apologize. But that would also mean that you've not been here for a long time. I hope I have not scared you away. A lot of migration at the southern border used to be seasonal. Used to be. It still is. It still is.
are undocumented. Not only is that terminology not used anywhere in federal law, but it is clearly designed to soften the concept of illegal.
Is undocumented really not used in federal law? Now I need to Google it because that sounds very improbable. So according to the Legal Information Institute, Cornell Law School, undocumented immigrant, I don't know, it seems to me like undocumented is in fact part of the federal law vocabulary. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe,
illegality by making it seem like it's just a technicality. In other words, if you are undocumented, it makes it sound like you can be here legally, but you're missing a few pieces of bureaucratic paperwork.
No, that's not exactly what that means. It means that you don't have the right to be here legally because you lack certain documentation. That the documentation is your requirement to be here legally. That is what that means, factually.
That is simply not the case. If an alien has not gone through the appropriate process for obtaining a visa to enter the United States or otherwise followed United States law to enter the United States, they are illegally here. Period. Hard stop.
But undocumented doesn't mean that they're here legally. What? Undocumented does not mean legal. Since when? Now I'm gonna say that someone's twisting words here and changing their meaning into something that it's not. Since when does undocumented mean legal? In what world?
Calling illegal aliens undocumented immigrants is the intellectual equivalent of calling someone who breaks into your house in the middle of the night an undocumented homeowner.
Well, that makes no sense. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's a stupid comparison. A brain dead comparison. Why? Because an illegal alien has avenues, okay? There exist legal avenues for an illegal alien to try to apply for documents. There are no avenues for a intruder into someone's house to try to get the documentation and kick out the owner of the house. I know. In Poland, at least, there are people that come without documents to Poland and then, while being illegally in Poland, apply for documents. And there are people like that that get the documents and they become documented. Their stay suddenly becomes legal. So Alvin, Stu, tell us a bit about yourself. Welcome to this small community.
It is inaccurate and it is designed to be inaccurate. The term
It is very accurate. There is no way to be any more accurate. You are lacking the necessary documents to be here. You are undocumented. There's literally no way to be more accurate. In fact, illegal is less accurate because illegal is a whole big umbrella of things. What is the illegal thing?
term migrants or migration are just as deceptive. The left likes to use migrants and migration not only because it sounds gentle, but it also
What? No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound gentle. How does that sound? That makes no sense. I'm sorry.
creates
Oh yeah, the immigrant just sounds so gentle and cute. They can get help getting their documents. I know. I know because I've helped with such processes in the past. I am familiar with the thing, at least in Poland.
confusion. When people hear these terms, they know deep down that migration is seasonal and circular.
What? What the what? This is the person that's been complaining about twisting words and getting meaning to them that they're not what? Huh? Is she really the one that was complaining about adding on meanings and twisting words? What do you mean? People know deep down that migration is seasonal. What the what? What? There's a term for seasonal migration. Do you know what it is? It's seasonal migration. That's why you add seasonal to indicate that it's seasonal. Oh God. Oh my God. I want to hear that again.
They think of birds. They know deep down that migration is seasonal and circular. They think of birds or butterflies.
What the Oh my God. It's the same argument as with climate change. Oh my God. calling. It's like listening to a preschooler. It's like listening to a preschooler presentation.
They fly seasonal and circular. They think of birds or butterflies.
Migration? Do you mean birds and butterflies? Is this for real? This is for real, isn't it? This is... God.
They fly south, they fly north, and so on. And historically, we have...
And we should stop them. We should declare them illegal aliens. Birds, butterflies, send them to the ICE facilities. Where is your visa, stork?
had foreign nationals come into the United States for...
Circular. By circular, and I know this sounds very, very stupid, okay? But I actually understand what she means by circular. By circular, she means, because I've learned the logic by watching this video, that they circulate from place to place. That is what they're... Which, by the way... No, she's not saying that. But I did not know, actually, which surprises me. I did not know that Project 2025, really surprisingly, in a weird, shocking twist, comes out in defense of the Roma and Irish traveler lifestyle. You know, of traveling. I've never actually expected Project 2025 to come out in strong defense of the traveler lifestyle. Wow. Okay. That is an interesting turn of events. You see? It's not all that. It's not all bad in Project 2025. Project 2025 is in defense of travelers. Circular, traveling.
Seasonal or agricultural work. And then...
What? What the fuck? What? I'm sorry, what? Okay, I'm sorry. I have to repeat this again. Those people opened the video by saying that the left twists words and adds meaning to the words that are not there. How do you say migration and immigration and add to its meaning agricultural work? How do you tie these things together? Orko, hello, Low Cirque. Are you new to this stream? How have you discovered this stream? And what other streamers do you watch? Like, really? We're gonna attach agricultural work to the meaning of migrant?
Return to their home countries. It would be
what
reason the cultural work. Foreign nationals come into the United States for seasonal or agricultural work and then return to their home countries.
No, that's not what migrant means by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, if I go migrant definition, we'll see if it's gonna be like someone who does agricultural work. A person who moves from one place to another, especially in order to find work or better living. Okay. Or 2, an animal that migrates. Nowhere in here No definition in here says a migrant is a seasonal agricultural worker that goes back to their original country after finishing their work. That's not in the definition. But I guess it's the left that twists words, isn't it?
It would be reasonable and accurate to refer to those individuals as migrant workers.
Why would it be accurate? No definition of migrant includes agricultural or seasonal work. None. Actually, there have historically been migrant workers who will come into the forest for seasonal agricultural work. Yeah, we call them seasonal workers. That's right. There are people historically that have been migrant workers. We call them seasonal workers. But the seasonality is not inherent to the definition of migrant. That's the difference. You know?
Because they ultimately return home. But make no mistake, the current mass illegal immigration we are seeing as a result of the Biden administration's intentional actions is not migration, and these people are not
You don't know what migration is?
migrants. It is an orchestrated invasion being led by the Biden administration in conjunction.
Invasion. Another word that you have no idea what it means. Invasion. Let me look it up right now. I'm gonna Google it. Invasion meaning. An instance of invading a country or region with an armed force. An incursion by a large number of people or things into a place of sphere of activity. An unwelcome intrusion into another's domain. If the president, whatever.
With the Mexican cartels. The bottom line is,
What?
we win in conjunction an orchestrated invasion being
The
led
Biden administration is working with the Mexican cartels. That's a pretty strong accusation, isn't it? And Belarus should go to jail for that.
by the Biden administration in conjunction with the Mexican cartels. The bottom line is, we win or lose political fights based on language. If you let the other side of the debate set the terms of the debate, you've already lost. In the context of immigration specifically, we have to start using more accurate language to describe.
Yeah, because saying that migrant means seasonal agricultural worker is, super accurate. Unfortunately, such a definition of migrant does not exist in the real world.
What is going on and pegging our language to existing law. If we can take back the language here and elsewhere, we will win more of these fights.
So what she's saying is, if we twist words in our favor, then we'll win.
So Bethany, I mean, these are some great examples. And
No, they're not. They're shitty examples. They're the worst examples ever. And they rely on using the words inaccurately, actually. Which is the opposite of what you supposedly wanted to achieve.
Another one that comes to my mind that has been completely co-opted by the left.
Yeah, go on. Are we getting to trans issues in the 24th minute of the video? We're getting to it now. Trans issues, yeah.
Is gender.
There we go. Here we go. My main topic. Of course, I'm trans. It has to be my main topic. It has to be my wheelhouse. I'm a gender expert. I'm Judith Butler. But Polish. Of course. Of course, of course. For a trans streamer, I don't do enough gender-related topics, so this is the perfect opportunity for me to jump on this horse and, you know, and do the thing, do the deed.
And I know you have so much experience
With gender.
in the history of your professional life in dealing with this. Where are we today
What is even your profession?
on this issue and the language and the words and the definitions?
Let's talk about the word gender. The word gender
Oh my god, what a horrifying face. Okay, is this our thumbnail? Do you think we should use this for thumbnail? Write yes or no in the chat if you think this deserves to be in the thumbnail. Gender. Hardly knew. This video is an ultimate lesson in rhetoric and anthropology. Imagine the psychology of a person who genuinely buys what's being talked about in this video. Oh, hello, Rosie. You should not be white. Yes. Good thumbnail? Screenshot? I think this is a decent thumbnail. Oh, you're right. She looks like Super Saiyan 3. She does look like a little bit like Super Saiyan 3, but her hair is not standing like Super Saiyan 3. Here's the hateful. Alright. We've paused enough. We've paused enough for the thumbnail. This is going to be the thumbnail. And then I'll draw a shocked Lucy looking at that face. Yeah, SSJ3. I mean, no? Am I wrong? It's just the hair doesn't match.
gender is no longer a polite way to refer to biological sex, male or female.
Yeah, because it's a separate word. Gender. That's right. You figured it out. You're very smart. You're not very smart.
The word now is completely toxic. It's
What does that mean? Or is it poisonous to the touch? Completely toxic. That doesn't mean anything. The word is now completely toxic. Okay.
It's no longer being used to mean male or female, but
Yeah, because we have the words male and female. And then we have the word sex. We have the word sex. And then we have the separate word gender. Those are two separate words that we have and can enjoy.
now how people identify, which is where we get this idea of gender identity. Katie, did you know that there are between 72 and 1,000 different kinds of gender?
Do you even know what gender is? I guess we should start with that.
We should never use the word gender as conservatives. It's not
Sure. Isolate yourself from society. Sure, don't use the word gender.
specific and it's nonsensical.
It is very specific, actually. There are whole books written on it. And it's not nonsensical. It's only nonsensical if you're stupid.
Instead, use the word sex or biological sex or male and female.
Oh, so don't use the word man and woman. Got it. Man and woman are crossed out of vocabulary. I can only say male or female. Got it. Got it. It makes no sense, but got it. Biological sex.
And I don't care where you are in the administration, you will deal with the word gender. Speaking of sex,
Oh no.
the next phrase that we're going to talk about is sex assigned at birth. Now,
What's the problem of that? Transgender.
I just told
I
you
mean, I am transgender.
to use the word sex, and you may think that sex assigned at birth, that sounds great. Well, actually,
It doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound horrible. It just is.
it's not. It's the left's attempt to change biological fact and to try to normalize their belief that biological sex can change. Unfortunately,
No, that's not what it means. It means that doctors can make mistakes when assigning sex at birth. For example, intersex people exist. Are we forgetting? It's not super common, but that does happen.
many folks, including solid conservatives, have
Solid conservatives. This is starting to sound like a Metal Gear Solid plot. Solid conservative.
accepted this
Liquid conservative.
and don't understand the danger in using this term. In fact, some conservatives have even taken this term and changed it slightly, gender as revealed at birth. The left is
But what is the danger? This is a training video. Aren't I supposed to be taught about the danger? At this point, they can't possibly be genuinely confused about the terms, right? They're not genuinely confused now.
infiltrating our conservative organizations, Christian schools, and even churches. We must always
Christian
be on guard.
schools. Christian schools. Oh my God. Christian schools.
And when a new term is introduced, ask, what is the genesis for this new term and why?
What? Who asks that? Who the hell asks a question? I just heard a new word. I just heard a new term. What is the genesis for this term? What is the genesis for this term?
Why was it introduced? If you see the term sex assigned at birth, delete it and replace it with biological sex.
But those mean different things. Those mean different things. You're stupid. Those things mean different things.
The next issue under gender is
biological sex just means someone's sex. Sex assigned at birth means that the doctor looks at the baby and assigns sex. That's
pronouns. Don't fall into the progressive left's trap in
of using pronouns.
regard to pronouns. Don't use them in email signature blocks, on LinkedIn, and absolutely do not ask people what their pronouns are on your first day on the job. When I was at USAID, managers were giving training and were told that when they have new staff or have a staff meeting, they should go around the room and ask everyone what their pronouns are. Katie, if that happened to you, what would you do?
Answer? I don't know. Answer the question. I wouldn't care. I would be like, oh, okay.
I think political appointees, Bethany, great question, need to expect that they are going to be tested by career staff the day they walk in. So that question, every political appointee should be prepared to deal with and answer, whether it's in a training. I don't think it'll take that long. It probably will be the first couple days on the job. So a political appointee is empowered. They are empowered because they are absolutely put in the position, whatever level it is.
Conservatives deal with real issues. The really, real issues. The pronouns. The pronoun question.
In order to implement the president's agenda. And that is the business of a political appointee and should be the business of all federal employees. So the answer is simple. We're here to implement the president's priorities and agenda. We are not here to discuss pronouns.
That makes no sense. That answer makes no sense. It's the equivalent of saying, "Hey, how's your day? I am here to do my job. I am here not here to discuss my day. Good day to you."
The next topic is gender affirming.
Oh, okay. I guess sure. Oh, now they're getting into really trans-specific topics. Gender affirming care. There you go.
Care. Gender affirming care, and what the topic is gender affirming care. Gender affirming care, and what the Biden administration is promoting.
They're really fixating on the Biden administration. I'm really afraid for them now that Biden's out of the race. I really want. It's like, isn't the document like a billion pages long? Are they gonna have to rewrite all of it and cross out all the references to Biden and replace them with references to Kamala Harris?
Is absolutely infuriating, especially as for parents. We need to be protecting our children from these harmful, sterilizing puberty blockers.
Puberty blockers don't sterilize anybody. That's one. And all you want to protect your children from is from being themselves, which is a very strange position to take.
Cross-sex hormones and permanent genital mutilation. That's
not what happens. Children don't undergo surgeries.
what gender affirming care is. Not
You have no clue what gender affirming care is, what it includes, you don't even know what puberty blockers do.
care at all. The idea that gender is fluid is evil.
Why? Why is it fluid? What is gender? Do you even know?
It is a major initiative of the Biden administration.
Oh, I guess the Biden administration invented gender. Well, Biden stepped down. What's the problem? It's not going to be the Biden administration anymore if Kamala Harris wins. It's going to be the Kamala Harris administration. So I guess you don't have to worry anymore about them transgenders. Biden has stepped down. It's over. It's Jover.
It's layered into each and every office, document, task force, and funding priority.
The what task force?
Office, document, task force.
Jesus, the trans task force.
And funding priority.
The trans force.
Perhaps most commonly known are the changes to Title IX, giving institutions, schools control over children and their gender preference, working against parents, mandating boys compete against girls.
Mandating boys compete against girls.
This is all done with words. Words matter.
Jesus, that makes no sense. That would
change the words, change the culture. Now, Katie, I know that you've written several
even she cracked a smile that was so nonsensical and stupid.
Wonderful pieces on equity, and you've done a lot of research on this. And
research, I wonder what the research looks like. I'm really curious as to what the research looks like, what the process is, the research process. I'm fascinated by this, fascinated by their research process.
The Biden administration has infiltrated equity into everything. What are your thoughts on...
What does that mean? Biden administration has infiltrated equity into every... How do you infiltrate something into something? That's not what the word infiltrate means. To infiltrate is to enter. Okay.
For the next administration.
Well, it's a little heart-stopping, Bethany, and it's going to take a lot to rewind where we are right now with this.
I had the idea that people don't own their children. Parents are caretakers and guardians of children. They're not the owners of children. That's it's a very weird notion.
with the left's definition of equity and how that's layered into
Oh, what
all
is your definition of equity? Do you even know what the word means?
federal government documents. Roger Severino states it perfectly in the Project 2025 Mandate for Leadership book.
Oh, perfect.
Quote, under President Biden, the mission has shifted from promoting equity in everything we do, end quote, for the sake of, quote, populations sharing a particular characteristic, including race, sexuality, gender identification, ethnicity, and a host of other categories.
I have no clue what that's supposed to mean.
End quote. Equity no longer means all men are created equal, the cornerstone of our U.S. Constitution, but rather now mandates the government to dispense with unequal treatment in order to achieve what they believe to be equal outcomes.
No. No, you're mistaken. The dispensing of the dispensation of with the unequal treatment is to create an equal starting point. So equity. It is actually to create a situation in which all men are quote unquote equal. No?
This creates divisiveness.
How is ranting about transgender people training anybody? I mean, it's training in transphobia.
Not equality. There is no unification under these principles.
Equality and equity are two separate terms that mean two different things. We're talking about equity now. Why are you introducing the term equality? It makes what?
It is equality. There is no unification under these principles. It is more of a this creates divisiveness, not equality. The
goal is equity. Equity. Are you mixing up your words?
No unification under these principles. It is more of a
that's fine. Human rights are for losers anyway.
A competition of what class is more of a victim, so that particular class,
what class is more of a victim,
can receive the preferential treatment being handed out and mandated by the Biden administration.
But you yourself have said that it's doing away with unfair treatment. You acknowledge there was unfair treatment. Doing away with unfair treatment is not preferential treatment. It's doing away with unfair treatment. Which is it? Is it doing away with the unfair treatment or is it preferential treatment?
It's important to note that the very first executive order that President Biden signed just moments after his inauguration on January 20th of 2021 had to do with equity. The left applauded as Biden announced his #1 priority, which is advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities throughout the federal government.
You just said this out loud and you think that it sounds bad? Okay. Wow. I did not think that you could listen to what was just being said and be like, oh God, that sounds awful. I release you from your captivity. It's 4 a.m. in my country anyway. Jesus. How do you listen to this and come to the conclusion, oh my gosh, that sounds awful. That Biden is a horrible person and a horrible president.
As part of that executive order, within 90 days, every single agency had to file an equity action plan with the White House. If you want to see or view what you will be up against, take a look at those plans. They're all online.
Oh, you're not going to present any of them. Okay, got it. We just have to take you for your word. They're everywhere online. Look it up. Do your own research. Isn't this supposed to be a training program? Shouldn't a training program sort of, I don't know, present these things? Good night, Catherine.
Under the Office of Management and Budget. Since that time, 9 more executive orders have been executed by the Biden administration about equity.
How base?
The latest to date is to further advance.
Why does she look so angry?
Racial equity. This entails new positions and responsibilities to be embedded into every single agency and office in the federal government. And there is also a directive that all funding that is given out by the federal government prioritize unequal treatment of the American people.
What?
The noxious tenets of critical race theory and gender ideology.
What does that have to do with equity? Gender ideology. How does that connect to equity?
Should be excised from curriculum in every single public school in this country.
So Katie, this is a lot to absorb. So how do you suggest?
Yeah, it's like a lot of my brain cells have died today. And we're still not done. There's still a lot of training left.
That we tackle the problem. I know you were the head of a grant office at DOJ and you had a lot of paperwork. What are your suggestions?
Well,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the prescriptions of what should be done. How do we deal with this problem? How do you deal with these genders, transgenders, and illegal aliens? Illegal aliens that are probably transgender. So how am I doing, Rifter? How am I doing compared to Vaush? I'm gonna take this little break to ask you for little feedbacks. How is this going compared to Vaush? How's my super cool, super deep analysis of this piece of work? This piece of training, of this educational material? Are you feeling educated? Yes, it's no use to wait for the answer.
A process for each type of document was crucial to reversing the words and definitions from the Obama administration. Here's an overall strategy to implement. First, look for any OMB, that's the Office of Management and Budget.
Oh gosh. Wait, really? Am I really doing better? Or are you just complimenting me? You're just being nice to me.
White House Office of Management and Budget, guidance. You'll want to instruct career employees that you, whatever level you are, you want to be informed of all OMB guidance and how it is being implemented internally. Oftentimes, careers will just get an OMB circular or an OMB advice, and then they just go along and they either ignore it or they don't put it in. You want to be involved in the process.
You want to put it in.
You want to say,
I apologize. That was a really inappropriate joke.
every single thing that comes in, I want to make sure that it is actually being implemented. This can easily be handled at the senior advisor or even special assistant level.
Editing. She did say pegged. That's true.
The second thing you need to do, and quickly, are look at guidance documents. Now, I've talked about this in other trainings. Guidance documents are simply a federal career employee's interpretation of of a statute, of an appropriation given by Congress, of a rule or regulation, and how it's going to be implemented. A guidance document is not binding. It is simply, in some ways, just their opinion. The problem with a guidance document is that it has a tremendous amount of authority. Because if you...
Wait, hold on. I have to listen to this again.
Is in some ways just their opinion is not binding.
It's not binding.
It is simply, in some ways, just their opinion.
It's just an opinion, but somehow at the same time it has a lot of authority? If it's not binding and it's just an opinion, then what sort of authority does it even have?
The problem with the guidance document is that it has a tremendous amount of authority.
A tremendous amount of authority. I don't know what to believe. It's not binding, it's just an opinion, but it has a tremendous amount of authority. Tremendous.
Because if you are looking to an agency to find out what they're looking for your grant, or how your grant program will be implemented, or what
but it's not
rules they have around it, you're going to look at those guidance documents. They end up with a tremendous amount of authority.
So they are basically binding if they have a big amount of authority. And they're more than just an opinion in that case. If they have a tremendous amount of authority, no?
It really ends up being the career's agenda.
So it's more than just an opinion, is what you're saying.
Being forced onto the American people.
So it is binding. If it's forced, then it's binding. Is it binding, or if it's not binding? If it's not binding, then it cannot be forced on the American people. If it has no authority, if it's just an opinion, then it has no authority. How can you just say both of these things one after the other and not see the contradiction? How does that happen?
A court is the only real institution that can give us a definitive interpretation of any kind of grant program, appropriation, or rule. So most likely...
That sounds like it's more than a... I know I'm repeating myself like a parrot, but like a broken machine, but broken record. But that sounds like more than just an opinion.
The Office of Management and Budget will come out very quickly with a plan to take down all the guidance documents that are currently up that reflect the Biden administration's agenda. So you'll first want to look at that process.
It repeats here that it's not binding and just an opinion, but somehow it has tremendous amount of authority nonetheless.
The second thing you're going to want to do, sort of the second layer, is to absolutely...
Listen, there's nothing wrong with pegging people.
Look at things that may not appear to be guidance documents, but are. For instance, one of the documents on our website was supposedly done by a Rutgers, professor, and
supposedly.
So it looked like it was.
So was it done by reality? It was supposedly done by this professor, but it wasn't really. It was done by someone else.
And actually, career guidance. But when you really dug into the document, it was not part of any kind of grant program, and it really was just a career who asked a whole bunch of questions, and a Rutgers professor said yes. So it really, in the end, was a guidance document, and we brought it down. Another really frightening example when...
Wow, I'm embracing myself to be frightened.
I was running the Office on Violence Against Women was a provision in the Violence Against Women Act that about gender identity. And if you identified as a woman and you showed up at a woman's domestic violence shelter,
oh, no.
You had to be accommodated. There were lawsuits, of course, about this as predators use that in order.
Oh, okay. Can you give us examples of predators using that, quote unquote? I want cases. This is an instruction video. You should instruct me with cases to use as examples, no? Surely you've got prepared many. Surely you've got like a whole list prepared to educate me on this, since this is once again a training video, right? We're not just gonna throw out vague statements and leave me without proper training and preparedness to tackle the arguments, right?
To gain entry
Right?
into a place where there were vulnerable women.
Okay, examples. Give me arguments. Give me arguments to use against those transgenders. Hit me with them.
Seemed to me to be exactly opposite.
Well, I guess I'll have to wait for training video number 2 for more details to be continued.
Of, you know,
The intention.
yeah, the intention of the Violence Against Women Act. In any event, it was.
Oh, in any event, okay. No specific cases then. Okay.
Directed toward just the Office on Violence Against Women programs. It was in the Violence Against Women Act. But in the Obama administration, the entire grant-making component of the Office of Justice programs, which I later went on to run,
Maybe Obama's trans.
the head of that office actually wrote a guidance document that said that the provision in the Violence Against Women Act regarding to gender identity was intended to apply to every single DOJ grant program, that it wasn't limited to.
No way. No.
The Office on Violence Against Women. There was absolutely no indication that this was true, but you can see that just by getting that particular legislation passed, and the way that the careers then interpreted it, created a complete change in culture across the Department of Justice.
No way. No. That's awful. I require specific examples now to sort of, have good arguments in my hand. After all, I am currently in training.
The next step will be to read every single executive order. I would suggest that, starting with
You want me to read every single executive order? Are you okay? Really? You want me to read every single one? Why would I do that?
assistant, a special
I'm not a lawyer.
assistant, a senior advisor, that you get every single executive order and put it in a binder and have that binder for the principal and make sure that it's flagged for that in a binder and have that binder for the principal and make sure that it's flagged for them.
I guess that's my homework. For today's training. Buy a binder and read out every single executive order, print them out and put them in a binder. That's my homework. That's my first real task for this training thing. I'm excited. You know what? Wait, read out whose every executive order? You want me to read out every single executive order in the history of the US? It's gonna be a pretty fat folder. It's gonna be a pretty fat binder by the end of this. You want me to? What do you mean, Biden's every executive order? Trump's? I'm already confused by this homework. I'm already confused. I'm so excited to do it. I was about to propose that next stream I'm gonna show you all my binder with all of the executive orders in it. But now I just don't know what to do. Can Can the chat help me in this desperate time of need and tell me which executive orders should I print? Every single one from Biden or from Trump, or every single executive order from every single president of the United States ever? Because there's a difference there, right? Right, in the chat. What's my homework for this training? I have to know. It's important. It's a very important thing. I'm fighting for conservative traditional rights here.
There will be a lot of executive orders that come out, and some of them...
Well, yeah, the US might be a young country, but, still, there's been quite a few presidents, quite a few executive orders.
Actually, and know this, repeal other executive orders. So you need to then pull the executive orders that are being repealed, so you are very clear about what needs to be redacted. Now let's go back to that OMB tip that I gave, and just like that, you need to be part of the process that the careers are using to implement executive orders. During the Trump administration, I can tell you that executive orders were signed, fully executed.
Wait, did she actually mean every single executive order ever? Really? She wants me to get a binder and in it put every single executive order ever in the history of the United States. Okay, I'll do it. I guess by tomorrow's streams, I guess I have to have a binder ready with all of them, with every single one of them, every single... Where would I even get this? I need help. I'm a foreigner.
Where all the guidance was given. You gave an example of this, Bethany, to our office, and I later found out that it was just simply ignored.
Oh, wow.
It's not,
That's not nice.
Worth the price of the paper it's written on if your careers are not implementing what the president wanted.
Read every single executive order. Oh my God. Every single one. Without exception.
I think you can expect that equity and all of the equity executive orders under Biden will be repealed early in the next administration. This is going to require a very detailed plan to execute the eradication of the dictates in the equity orders. For instance, there's a gender advisor position created by one of these executive orders. That position has to be eradicated, as well as all the task forces.
Okay, what is the position? What does it do? Who occupies this position? Why does it have to be eradicated? Can I get answers to these basic questions that should be part of a training course? You would think that it's pretty basic, but I guess it's not. You would think that's a pretty basic thing. What in the hell? I just had to take a look at this. One moment, please. I've just been... What the hell? Okay.
Is the removal of all the equity plans from all the websites and a complete rework of the language in internal and external policy documents.
Yes, that's gonna go well with the public. We want to remove equity. We want to remove equity and gender equality. That's gonna go well with the public. Sounds like a brilliant idea.
Grant applications, which leads me to grants and rules and regulations. Well, grant and grant programs are funded with your federal tax dollars, and they are
my federal tax dollars. I've been included, even though I'm an illegal alien, I've been included in the U.S. citizenship scheme. I've been included in the U.S. Tax scheme, even though I am an illegal alien.
Appropriated by Congress. So you are told how much money you have for what particular program. And typically your appropriations language will just give a very brief description of the program. And that's the direction that Congress has given the agency. Every single grant has conditions. You want to think of this like a carrot and a stick.
That's a really weird way to look at it, actually. That is a really weird... I didn't expect that. Conditions for a grant are like a stick to a carrot. Okay. Sure.
You can have your federal money in order to support your program, but only if you agree.
But only if you meet certain conditions, yes. That is how most grants work, if not all of them. I don't think this lady has ever applied for a grant in her entire life, but my best friend has, and she was granted a grant several times, actually.
To certain conditions, which are built into the grants.
That's how grants work. Incredible. We're learning today. Wow. How shocking. How shocking that receiving funding has certain conditions attached to them. Who would have known? Who would have expected? Who would have foreseen such a development? Damn. It's all, once again, a ploy of the left.
Began at the Office on Violence Against Women, our grant applications were 75 to 110 pages long. Pages and pages of guidance that had no statutory or congressional counterpart, and tons of conditions. The conditions that you would need in order to receive the money. And
of course, you're getting probably quite a big amount of money. So of course there's going to be conditions that you need to... What is this whining? This is very unbecoming of a conservative.
Need to continue to live with those conditions throughout the time of your grant. For instance,
you cannot just meet the conditions before you receive the money and then just get the money and break all of the you cannot do that. No. That's right. Another shocking revelation that you just cannot back out of meeting the conditions on which you received the money. Wow. That's incredible. That is... What other things? Now I really feel like I'm undergoing a training course. Oh boy. I'm not even sure where this is going. I'm not even sure where this revelation is headed. What is this supposed to demonstrate?
Receive grant money, certain programs would have to show a partnership with an LGBTQ support group.
Yeah, probably if you apply for a grant related to LGBT issues or something. But because grants are usually for specific purposes. It's not just grant money for whatever. It's a grant for a specific purpose, right? A grant for opening a restaurant, which means that one of the conditions when applying for a grant for a restaurant will be having a place that meets certain health regulations. That would be one of the conditions for receiving a grant for opening a restaurant. Yes. How shocking. Damn. God damn.
There was no language in the appropriation for that grant that an LGBTQ subgrantee was mandated. The career said it was best practices and it was an Obama administration priority. This condition on many grants funded a lot of LGBTQ organizations.
Yeah, grants for LGBT project. What's the problem? Where is this going? Am I just getting a dumbed down explanation of what grants are? What's the point?
So we removed...
What is the point being made here? Grants exist and they have conditions attached to them. Whoop-de-doo.
That language and we removed those conditions as we wrote the grants.
You want grants not to have conditions attached to them? Are you encouraging... Are you encouraging embezzlement of funds? Unironically. Oh boy. Why are you...
Moving forward.
Yeah, let's remove conditions from grants. That is an amazing idea.
Rules and regulations.
Let's just give grants to everybody. Damn, this lady's actually... That's communism. That's communism. I salute you, comrade. Grants to everybody. No conditions, no questions asked. Now that's a real communist.
Also need ultimate political sign-off and a tremendous amount of political involvement. Your careers may draft the initial documents, the rules and regulations, but there should be multiple political edits on the any final proposed rule or regulation. The left is excellent about holding up process. So you want to expect and prepare for thousands of comments coming from tons of left-supported groups on any rule that you put up. So expect that and have a plan to deal with those thousands, tens of thousands of comments in order to move the president's agenda. If you are prepared to deal with the comments that are coming in, then you aren't going to let them delay the rule because they have to be responded to, each one of the comments. The careers will want to follow...
I was pretty sure that the group that loves to obstruct and delay certain decisions from being made was the GOP. But,
the system that's currently in place for handling comments or conditions or how grants are written. You are empowered as a political appointee to adjust these processes as long as you are meeting all legal requirements.
Legal requirements? More conditions? I thought we wanted to cross them out. I thought we wanted to cross down all the conditions. What's wrong? What's happening?
So you may have to deal with pushback, but really look at your process and change it. A tip here, in addition to the sheer volume of guidance and conditions to grants and explanations of proposed rules, is to ask careers to explain a grant program or the need for a rule in 2 sentences.
Okay.
It is astonishing how difficult it is for a career who works in the policy or grant space.
I couldn't how see it. I didn't falling for the Pondering Stone.
To actually
Buffalo.
accomplish this. And
Oh,
finally,
hello, Anonymous. Are you new to the stream? What brings you to the stream? How did you find this stream? And what other streamers do you watch? If you watch any streamers. There you go. I've asked you, Anonymous. Also, what do you call how you see it?
use your
Are you also perchance for removing all conditions for receiving a grant?
common sense.
Oh, it's common sense. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Even if you see something that isn't directly addressed by an executive order or an OMB circular,
Which I have to print them all and put them in a binder.
or directed by your agency head, you want to use your common sense to redact the words and definitions which are weakening our nation. As we have discussed,
What does that mean? What is that supposed to mean? Weakening our nation.
certain words and phrases used
Weaken our nation.
together have hidden definitions. A really good example is
That does not sound conspiratorial at all, by the way.
social emotional learning.
So what's the hell meaning here?
That's actually the new buzzword for CRT, or critical race theory. Here's a tip. When you
Will you explain why? Will you explain what it means? Will you explain what it entails? No? You're not gonna explain things in your own course for training course? I'm trying to train. I'm trying to learn.
see phrases, any phrase like this, one that sounds innocuous, ask your careers to identify the origin of that phrase.
Well, can you do it for me during this training?
Where did it come from? Why are you using that phrase particularly? What does it mean based on the original
Yeah, what does it mean? Trainer.
intent of those words? And then I would highly recommend
Oh yeah, because that's how words work. That's exactly how words work. You use the words only in connection to its original meaning. That's why, of course, everybody uses gay as to mean happy. Of course, that's why boner means blunder. Of course, as everybody knows that. Everybody knows that there's no other meaning to the word boner than a blunder, and gay as in happy. Of course, that's yeah. We don't let those lefties redefine them words.
recommend you start your own research. As a last note, plan to read a lot of documents. Know how your careers are implementing
like
the
reading.
president's executive orders, OMB directives, and be very involved in that process. I can't stress
I do like reading, so I'm being tempted here.
enough the need to control all documents. Create a system where nothing goes out, nothing is published, nothing is put on your website without review by a delegated political or the principal of any office. Ask lots of questions and do not make assumptions.
I'm asking you questions, first of all, and you've answered none. And you've made plenty of assumptions in this very video. Do as I say, not as I do? Much?
And finally, if a career employee rushes in and says it is an emergency, and I think a lot of people who are an assistant, chief of staff, maybe senior advisor, Our special assistants are going to have careers just descending on them, talking about how it's an emergency that the principal sign something. That's a red flag. Right away, it's a red flag. By the time you get into your position, you will realize that the government moves very, very slowly. Just think about your clearance process and how long that took. These documents need to be read even more carefully. If a career thinks they can push you to sign something by giving it to you at the very last minute, that will become the norm, and it will hinder your ability to actually go through a process, read things, edit things, and make sure that they are completely in line with the president's priorities and agenda.
True. In this case, Trump's priorities to use the border issues as an election thing. Or, aid.
The president's agenda will be in peril from your office if you allow this emergency.
I guess she could use a cognitive test. I mean, both of them could, considering what they've been saying about
kind of process.
Katie, that was great. Thank you for taking us through that process.
Oh my god. Oh no, I don't even know why I find this so funny.
Do you see? The monster is in the attic, and it is layered in virtually every document in the federal government. Grant applications, rules, regulations, internal and external policy documents, guidance documents, tweets, speeches, and panels. Every one of these phrases or words that are not corrected by being redacted or rephrased is a failure of the presidency. As the Heritage Foundation's president, Dr. Kevin Roberts boldly and courageously states,
Courageously? What a brave man.
in the mandate for leadership, the next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity.
Wait! What? I'm sorry. You want to delete the term sexual orientation? Why, if I may ask? Are you saying that there's no such thing as there's no such thing as being gay? There's no such thing. But you hate gay people. There's no such thing as sexual orientation? I'm confused about the sexual orientation thing, actually. I'm very confused. What? Men liking... I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm using the wrong vocabulary. Males liking males is not something that exists. Biological males liking other biological males, is that not a thing? That biological females being into other biological females, is that not a thing?
SOGI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
You want to delete gender equality,
DEI, gender equality, gender equity.
You want to delete things like the equity. You're against the word inclusion.
Gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights.
Wait, the word inclusion deprives people of rights? The word equity deprives people of rights? The word sexual orientation deprives... I'm really just trying to learn during this training. Can I have some elaboration? Can I have some explanation? Equality is bad because it prevents you from being able to be racist in public. True. Jesus. The term sexual orientation deprives Americans of their rights. It's
Out of every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, regulations, and piece of legislation
none of this makes any sense.
that exists. And the next conservative president will only be able to do so with your help. Are you up for this challenge? We think you are.
Holy shit.
Together, let's conquer the monsters in Uncle Sam's attic.
This has to be satire. I don't believe this is serious. This was satire, right? That's we had a bit of a laugh. Haha. That was very, very funny. That was very, 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 very comical. But it was not serious, right? It was like a Comedy Central, whatever channel thing that produces comedy, right? 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 No? Oh, it's not. This is not a. It's not a joke. It's not. It's not funny. It's not. It's not one of them funny jokes. Oh damn. How did you like? How did you like my deep analysis into Project 2025? This is this is your future. This is what will be implemented under your next president, Donald Trump. It's very deep. I know. Have you learned anything from this training video? Do you feel equipped? Are you up to the challenge? Are you up to the task? Are you up to the task, Red Ruse, to get rid of sexual orientation and equity? No, she's not. She's crooked. Oh no, that was Hillary Clinton. She laughs. So that disqualifies her. There you go. She loses. Because equity is bad. I learned that there are many humans who are living, breathing beings, yet they aren't real people. True. Oh gosh. So what now? Would you like me to play a little bit of a game? Or would you like me to react to a different nice thing? I've got another thing to react to, actually. Trump's interview with Elon Musk. At least one fragment. Is at least one fragment I want to react to. Duck Detective Game. What's the title? What's the title? Tell me the title. And in the meantime, this game is still on.